girl, make them back it up. Yeah, make them back it up, back it up.
Girl, wobble it, and I'ma gobble it. I say you moving your head, go ahead, bobble it. We can cradle the bed, I'm straight racking it. The girl say my head like the head of a racket ship.
So, back in the 90s, a lot of comic books were used to raise awareness for real life issues and tackle things that were going on, problems that were going on in the real world. Now, landmines were a big issue back then in places like Bosnia. So comic books were used to raise awareness about the dangers of unexploded landmines and how they could even be disguised as other things. Now, 2 years I talked about this a little bit when I did my review over Batman Death of Innocence, The Horror of Landmines, which is a really great story. And because of the success of that story, they also came out with the Superman story called Deadly Legacy. Now, in that Batman video, I said that I didn't think that the Superman story would be as good as the Batman story was, just because it's Superman, you know? Almost everything is always happy-go-lucky with him, especially in the 90s, more so back in the day. And I was dead right, honestly. Let me tell you, this story, it's Superman, alright. Nothing happens in this story. Nothing happens, which is really ironic considering that the title of the book is called Deadly Legacy. I mean, literally, no one even dies. The worst thing that happens in this story is that a dog dies due to a landmine. This story really consists of Superman lecturing two boys he saves from landmines in the very beginning. They're flying all over looking for one of the kids' friends, and as they're looking for her, Superman is just telling kids how they need to be careful, telling them how they can be cautious, like avoiding uncleared fields and abandoned warehouses and things like that. That's what most of this book consists of. We see a little bit of the dangers from landmines. Like I said, we saw the dog die. We saw a kid who has just had his leg blown off and things like that, but it's just not as impactful. It doesn't feel heavy because it doesn't feel like a true story. It feels like all these characters are talking to the reader. What makes Batman Death of Innocence better is because that was an actual story. From the very beginning, we see the dangers and realism of landmines. This guy is in another country with his kids and runs over one and boom, he's dead. His daughter's friend is dead. Only his daughter is alive. That happens in the very beginning of the story. It's got you hooked already. Turns out that guy worked for Wayne Enterprises, so Bruce Wayne has to go to that other country to find that little girl who actually got kidnapped too while she was over there. This is a good story. The characters are all interacting with each other. This is a Batman story, like any other comic. There's action, there's fighting, there's explosions, there's interrogations. You know, like this is a good story. Batman is risking his life trying to save this girl. He's in another country, landmines are everywhere, terrorists are everywhere. He had a dog, a bomb-sniffing dog. A sniper shot the dog in the head. This is the exact same year that Superman story came out. And it's like, these feel like two completely different stories, decades apart. You can just tell that by looking at the panels that these are totally two different stories. It's like night and day, literally. Superman Deadly Legacy is trash. I'm sorry. It is. Nothing happens. Another thing I liked about Death of Innocence was the fact that after the story ends, the next few pages are real life stories about the horror of landmines and explaining how you can be safe. The Superman story didn't have that because the whole book is basically a lecture, and Superman didn't even destroy any landmines either. A kid asks him, Superman, can't you do anything about this? And he goes, well, I need it all over the world, son, blah, 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 bull. All over the world? I've never seen this dude in Mexico or Chicago or anything. This is really just utter BS. The writers, they couldn't think of anything really, because really, I mean, if we're being logical here, Superman could find every single one of these landmines with his X-ray vision and destroy every single one. And probably do it under 20 minutes. So, talk about he needed all over the world. Dude, come on. we protect one city. Like, this is so lame. But I guess both of these stories do fit the individual heroes of Batman and Superman. Both stories do fit who they are. Batman is a very dark, complex, interesting character, you know, and his world reflects that. So, people dying, children getting kidnapped, him risking his life to save that, kind of fits in with the character. Superman, he's the people's champ, right? He's the type of guy who will take pictures with you on the street, take a selfie with you, you know. Everyone loves Superman. He comes out in the day, he's flying, everybody's smiling, they love him. And even dealing with little kids, Superman lectures them, Batman teaches them a real life lesson.
He's gonna help!
It's okay now. I've got you. All right. Who wants to explain what you were doing up there?
They dared me.
We didn't think you'd do it.
I know it's tough to turn down a dare, but sometimes being brave means using your head and not doing something dangerous just because other kids pressure you.
You're right, Superman. I'll be smarter next time. Yeah, thanks, Superman.
Okay then. Bye-bye.
I knew you'd chicken out!
You play chicken long enough, you fry.
The corniness just gets a little annoying. Like I said, it fits with the character, so it's not bad, and it's nice to have a contrast to the darkness of Batman. But it's like after a while, the corniness just gets a little annoying. It's like, dude, come on. Doesn't anything bad ever happen in your world? By the end of the story, the girl they've been searching for this whole time is about to step on a landmine, and they get there just in time to save her life. Like, come on. In Batman Death of Innocence, Batman saved the girl he was searching for too. But after he saves her, he's calling for a rescue pickup, and the girl sees what she thinks is a yo-yo on the ground, picks it up, and dies. It was a landmine made to look like a toy. That's more realistic, because kids do that. Little kids touch stuff that isn't theirs. They pick up random toys, even in the store or on the ground or anything. Kids do that. This story is called Deadly Legacy. It's a story about landmines. There should be action, explosions, pain, despair, death, something. There should be people terrified. There should be war. Deadly Legacy, and it's a book about landmines and the horror of landmines. And none of that happens. None of that happens in this book. And the book is called Deadly Legacy. It makes no sense, honestly. Man. I can't believe I spent $20 for this. I like Superman. I really do. I really do. But I wouldn't recommend buying this story, honestly. I wouldn't recommend spending money on it. If you want to read it, I guess it's a good informative, you know, educational book if you want to read about the dangers of landmines. But would I recommend spending money on it? Maybe to add to your Superman collection, because these kind of stories are rare, actually. But it's just too lame for me. Nothing happens. Nothing happens in the story worth really talking about or mentioning, really. I love the artwork, though. I must say, the artwork is really good. And I like these landmine awareness books, because like I said, they are pretty rare. I'm one of the only ones on YouTube to even talk about them. But yeah, Superman Deadly Legacy. If you want to read it, you can go to Read Comics Online Landmine.com. I'll post a link in the description, and I'll post a link for the Batman Death of Innocence comic too. Thank you guys for watching so much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, be sure to subscribe. I'll see you next time.